A single dad in cheap clothes boards a plane with his daughter. Passengers complain, demand he be moved. Then the engines fail. When F-16 fighter jets arrive to escort the crippled plane, the pilots look into the cockpit and freeze. It's him. The ghost. He's alive. Before watching full story, comment below from where you watching. Also like and subscribe for more stories. The airport smelled like burnt coffee and broken dreams. Marcus Webb stood in the security line with his daughter, Emma, pressed against his side. She was 7 years old, wearing a pink backpack almost as big as she was. Her shoes had cartoon characters on them, the cheap kind from the discount store. Marcus carried their bags in one hand. His jacket was old, the kind mechanics wore. Oil stains on the sleeves that never quite washed out. His jeans were faded. His boots were held together with duct tape around the sole. The woman behind them sighed loudly. Marcus didn't turn around. He knew that sigh. He'd heard it 1,000 times before. The sigh that said, "Why are people like you in my space?" "Daddy, are we really going to see Grandma?" Emma whispered. "Yes, baby. We're really going." Marcus had saved for 14 months to buy these tickets. Every extra shift at the garage. Every skipped meal. Every time he'd walk to work instead of spending money on gas. All of it for this trip. His mother was sick. The doctors said maybe 6 months left. Emma deserved to know her grandmother. To have those memories before they were gone forever. The security officer waved them forward. Marcus lifted Emma so she could put her backpack on the conveyor belt. Her little hands trembled. She'd never flown before. Neither had Marcus, actually. Not like this. Not as a passenger. But that was a different life. A life he'd buried 12 years ago. They made it through security. Found their gate. Sat in the hard plastic chairs with all the other people waiting to board. Emma swung her legs, excited. "Daddy, will the plane be really high up?" "Really high, baby. Will we see clouds?" "Lots of clouds." A businessman sat near them, talking loudly on his phone. Designer suit. Expensive watch. He glanced at Marcus and Emma, then moved 3 seats away. Marcus pretended not to notice. The gate agent called for boarding. First class first, of course. Then business class. Then people who paid extra for early boarding. Finally, "We now invite all remaining passengers." Marcus took Emma's hand. They walked down the jetway together. Emma's eyes were huge, taking in everything. The flight attendant at the door smiled at the businessman ahead of them. "Welcome aboard, sir. First class is to your left." Then she saw Marcus and Emma. Her smile thinned. "Economy is toward the back." Marcus nodded. "Thank you." They squeezed down the narrow aisle. Past the big seats with extra legroom. Past the business class passengers already sipping champagne. Into economy, where the seats were small and packed together. Row 12. Seats A and B. Marcus lifted Emma into the window seat. She pressed her nose against the glass immediately. "Daddy, look. I can see the trucks." Marcus smiled. His first real smile in days. "Pretty cool, huh?" He squeezed into the seat beside her. His knees hit the seat in front of him. There was no legroom. But it didn't matter. Emma was happy. That was enough. The plane filled up quickly. A woman in expensive perfume sat across the aisle. She looked at Marcus's oil-stained jacket and wrinkled her nose. Actually wrinkled it, like he smelled bad. Marcus had showered that morning. Scrubbed his hands until they were raw. But the oil never completely left. It was part of him now. Under his fingernails. In the creases of his palms. The woman pulled out her phone and immediately put in earbuds. The message was clear: don't talk to me. Behind them, a man complained to the flight attendant. I specifically paid to avoid sitting near children. Can I be moved? The flight attendant's voice was apologetic. I'm sorry, sir. The flight is completely full. This is ridiculous. Economy keeps getting worse. Marcus kept his eyes forward. Emma was oblivious, still watching out the window. That was good. He wanted to protect her from people like this. From their judgment. Their casual cruelty. The flight attendant came by with a cart. Would you like something to drink? The businessman got a full can of soda and a package of cookies. Emma looked up hopefully. Could she have some juice? Marcus asked. The flight attendant's smile was tight. Juice is $3. Marcus had exactly $20 left in his wallet. For emergencies. For whatever came next. Just water is fine, he said quietly. The attendant handed him a small plastic cup. Half full. Emma took it without complaint. Thank you, Daddy. You're welcome, baby. The man behind them muttered something about broke people flying to his seatmate. They both laughed. Marcus's jaw tightened. But he said nothing. Just put his arm around Emma and pulled her close. The plane pushed back from the gate. The engine started with a deep roar. Emma gripped Marcus's hand, suddenly nervous. It's okay, Marcus said softly. This is normal. Just the plane getting ready. It's loud. I know. But it's safe. I promise. The plane taxied toward the runway. Marcus watched out the window over Emma's shoulder. Saw the ground crew. The other aircraft. The whole complex dance of an airport. He used to know all of this from a different angle. From above. From inside the machine. But that was before. Before everything changed. The plane turned onto the runway. The engines went quiet for a moment. Then they opened up. Full throttle. The whole aircraft shook with power. Emma squeezed Marcus's hand so hard it hurt. It's okay, baby. We're just going fast. Then we'll go up. The nose lifted. The ground fell away. Emma gasped. We're flying, Daddy. We're really flying. Marcus smiled despite everything. Despite the judgment and the stares and the casual cruelty. This moment, Emma's wonder, was worth it all. The plane climbed steadily. Up through the clouds. Into the clear blue sky beyond. Emma pressed against the window. It's so pretty. It is, Marcus agreed. He'd forgotten how beautiful it was up here. How peaceful. How the world looked different when you were above it. The seatbelt sign turned off with a ding. People started moving around. Going to the bathroom. Getting things from overhead bins. The businessman from first class walked past, heading to the back. He saw Marcus and actually did a double take. Stared for a moment, confused, like he recognized something but couldn't place it. Then he was gone. Marcus closed his eyes. Tried to relax. The flight was 3 hours. 3 hours of being invisible. Of being judged. But then they'd land, and he'd see his mother, and Emma would have these memories. That was worth it. That was worth everything. An hour into the flight, something changed. Marcus felt it before anyone else. A vibration. Wrong frequency. Not the normal engine rhythm. Something deeper. Something broken. His eyes snapped open. Emma was coloring in a book he'd bought her at the airport. She didn't notice anything. But Marcus noticed everything. The vibration got worse. The plane shuddered. Just slightly. Most passengers wouldn't even register it. Marcus sat up straighter. The businessman across the aisle looked up from his laptop. Is it just me, or? The plane dropped. Not a lot. Maybe 10 feet. But sudden. Like an elevator with a broken cable. People gasped. Someone screamed. Emma grabbed Marcus's arm. Daddy? It's okay, baby. Just some bumps. But it wasn't okay. Marcus knew aircraft. Knew them better than he knew anything else. And this wasn't turbulence. This was failure. The seatbelt sign came on. The captain's voice crackled over the intercom. Folks, we're experiencing some technical difficulties. Please return to your seats and fasten your seatbelts. Technical difficulties. That was pilot speak for, we have a serious problem. The plane shuddered again. Harder this time. The woman with the perfume started crying. The man who'd complained about sitting near children was gripping his armrests, knuckles white. Marcus kept his breathing steady. Kept his voice calm. Emma, I need you to make sure your seatbelt is tight. Can you do that for me? She nodded, eyes wide. Are we okay? We're going to be fine. I promise. The plane lurched sideways. Luggage fell from an overhead bin. Someone screamed again. Marcus's mind was working. Running through possibilities. Hydraulic failure. Control surface damage. Engine problem. Each scenario had different outcomes. Different solutions. The intercom crackled again. This time the voice was different. Younger. Scared. Is there anyone on board with flight experience? Anyone who has flown commercial or military aircraft? We need immediate assistance in the cockpit. Silence. The kind of silence that pressed on your eardrums. Marcus felt every eye in economy turn. Looking around. Hoping someone would stand up. Would save them. His hand moved to his seatbelt buckle. Emma looked up at him. Daddy? I need to go help, baby. Stay in your seat. Don't move. Okay. But. Emma. His voice was firm but gentle. Trust me. I'll be right back. He unbuckled and stood up. The businessman across the aisle stared at him. You can fly. Marcus didn't answer. He was already moving toward the front of the plane. A flight attendant blocked his path. Sir, you need to return to your seat. You asked for someone with flight experience. That's me. She looked at him. At his oil-stained jacket. His cheap jeans. The doubt was clear in her eyes. Sir, this is serious. We don't have time for. I know it's serious. Marcus's voice was steel. That's why you need to let me through. Now. Something in his tone made her step aside. Marcus moved through first class. Past the business passengers in their big seats. Every one of them watched him. The mechanic from economy. Going to save them. The cockpit door was open. Inside was chaos. The captain was slumped in his seat, blood running from his forehead. The co-pilot gripped the controls, sweat pouring down his face. He looked barely 25 years old. Warning lights covered the instrument panel. Alarms screamed. Who are you? The co-pilot asked desperately. Marcus slid into the jump seat. His hands moved over the instruments. Reading. Calculating. Someone who can help. What happened? Bird strike took out the captain. Then hydraulics started failing. Primary flight computer is offline. We're losing control. Marcus's eyes scanned the damage. It was bad. Really bad. The kind of scenario they used in training to show pilots what impossible looked like. What's your name? Marcus asked. Tyler. Tyler Morrison. Okay, Tyler. I'm Marcus. We're going to get this plane on the ground. But I need you to listen to me carefully. Can you do that? Yes. Yes, sir. Sir. The kid had called him sir. Like he recognized authority even without knowing where it came from. What's the nearest airport? Phoenix Sky Harbor. But we're losing altitude fast. We won't make it. Marcus was already calculating. Distance. Descent rate. Wind speed. His mind worked like it used to. Like it always had. There's a military base 40 miles east. Luke Air Force Base. Call them. That's restricted airspace. They'll scramble fighters. Then let them scramble. We're out of options. Tyler's hands shook on the radio. Luke Tower, this is Commercial Flight 447. We have a critical emergency. Request immediate landing clearance. Static. Then a voice, sharp with authority, Flight 447, you are in restricted airspace. Identify yourself. Luke Tower, we have engine failure and hydraulic damage. We need emergency landing clearance immediately. A pause. Long enough that Marcus thought they'd been denied. Then, Flight 447, you are cleared for emergency approach. Maintain heading. Be advised, we are launching Escort. Marcus was already adjusting their trajectory. The plane fought him. Every input took 3 times the normal force. Tyler, I need you on the throttle. When I say decrease, you decrease. When I say increase, you increase. Fast response, okay. Got it. They worked together. Marcus calling out instructions. Tyler following them precisely. The plane was dying around them, but they coaxed it forward. Meter by meter. Mile by mile. Through the cockpit glass, clouds parted. And then the fighters appeared. 2 F-16s. Gray and deadly. They came alongside like sharks circling wounded prey. Marcus saw the lead pilot clearly. Young guy. Confident. His jet moving with practiced ease. The pilot turned his head. Looked into the cockpit. Their eyes met. The F-16 jerked in the air. Actually jerked, like the pilot had forgotten how to fly for a second. The radio erupted. Tower, confirm visual on Flight 447 cockpit. Go ahead, Escort. The pilot's voice was shaking. Tower, the man flying that 737. That's not the co-pilot. That's Marcus Webb. Silence. Then an older voice. Heavy with authority and disbelief. Say again, Escort. Sir, I know what I'm seeing. That's Marcus Webb. That's the ghost. More silence. Then chaos. Multiple voices overlapping. Excited. Shocked. Afraid. The ghost? That's impossible. He disappeared 12 years ago. He's supposed to be dead. Marcus ignored them. Focused on the approach. The runway was growing larger. Concrete and lights and their only chance. Tyler, landing gear. Gear indicators are offline. I don't know if they'll deploy. Try anyway. Tyler hit the switch. They both held their breath. A grinding sound. Metal moving. Then green lights. 2 of them. Nose gear didn't deploy, Tyler said, voice tight with fear. Doesn't matter. We're landing this bird. The fighters held formation. Close enough that Marcus could see the pilots' faces. One of them gave a thumbs up. Respect from one warrior to another. Marcus's throat tightened. He'd walked away from this world. Tried to forget it. But it had never forgotten him. Brace for landing, he said into the intercom. His voice steady. Calm. The voice of a man who'd done this 1,000 times before. In economy, Emma sat in her seat. The nice businessman from across the aisle had moved next to her, holding her hand, keeping her calm. "Your dad's going to save us," he told her. "I don't know how I know that. But I know it." Emma nodded. "My daddy can do anything." The runway rushed up. Marcus pulled back on the controls. Fighting the plane's momentum. Fighting physics. Fighting death itself. The wheels touched. Once. Twice. The plane bounced. Protested. Then settled. But they were going too fast. The runway was too short. And without the nose gear, they couldn't brake properly. Marcus made a decision. He cranked the controls hard left. Used their momentum to swing the tail around. A controlled spin. Dangerous. Reckless. The kind of move they specifically taught pilots never to attempt. But it worked. The plane spun in a wide arc, tires screaming, metal groaning, and came to rest 20 feet from the end of the runway. For a moment, nothing. Then cheering erupted from the cabin. Crying. Laughing. The sound of people who just realized they were going to live. Tyler was staring at Marcus like he'd witnessed a miracle. "How did you? That was impossible." Marcus unbuckled his harness. His hands were steady. They always were in crisis. It was after that they shook. "Nothing's impossible," he said quietly. "Just improbable." He needed to get back to Emma. Part 3, The Revelation. Emergency crews swarmed the plane. Slides deployed. Passengers evacuated in organized chaos. Marcus helped the unconscious captain. Supported his weight while medics rushed forward. Tyler kept staring at him. "Who are you really?" Marcus didn't answer. He pushed through the crowd. Down the slide. Boots hitting the tarmac. He had to find Emma. She was there. Standing with a flight attendant. When she saw Marcus, she ran. Small body colliding with his chest. Arms wrapping tight around his neck. "Daddy! Daddy, you saved us." Marcus held her. Breathed in her shampoo and sweat. "Just did what needed doing, baby." But the world wasn't done with Marcus Webb. The F-16 pilots had landed. They were walking across the tarmac. Helmets under their arms. Purpose in every step. A crowd was forming. Military personnel. Base security. Passengers wrapped in emergency blankets. The businessman who'd moved seats stood near Emma. The woman with the expensive perfume. The flight attendant. All of them watching as the fighter pilots approached. The lead pilot reached Marcus. Stopped 3 feet away. Came to attention. And saluted. "Commander Webb, sir." The title landed like a bomb. People went quiet. Even the emergency sirens seemed to fade. Marcus didn't return the salute. Those days were over. But the pilot kept his hand up. "Sir, I'm Captain Jake Reynolds. You trained me. Taught me everything I know about flying." More pilots were gathering. All of them young. All wearing the same expression. Reverence mixed with shock. An older man pushed through. Stars on his shoulders. Base commander. He looked Marcus up and down. The oil-stained jacket. The duct-taped boots. The mechanic's hands. "Marcus Webb," he said slowly. "They told me you were dead." "Close enough," Marcus said quietly. Emma pressed against his side. Confused. Frightened by the attention. The base commander wasn't finished. "The ghost. That's what they called you. The pilot who couldn't be killed. The man who landed an F-18 with half a wing missing and no hydraulics. You saved your entire squadron that day. Passengers were listening now. The businessman who'd complained about sitting near a child. The woman who'd wrinkled her nose at Marcus's jacket. All of them staring. Captain Reynolds spoke up. After that mission, Commander Webb was offered every medal the Navy had. They wanted to make him a hero. But he turned it all down. Requested immediate discharge. We thought maybe the mission had broken something inside you, sir. No one just walks away from that kind of legend. I had a reason, Marcus said. His hand found Emma's shoulder. Squeezed gently. What reason? The base commander asked. Marcus's jaw tightened. The memory still hurt. Even after 12 years. My wife was a pilot too. Sarah. She flew transport missions. They said it was safe. Low risk. He had to stop. Breathe through the pain. Her C-130 went down over hostile territory. Equipment failure. She managed to land it. Saved most of her crew. But she didn't make it out. The crowd had gone completely silent. I got the call the same day they were pinning medals on my chest. I was standing in dress whites, smiling for cameras, while my wife was dying half a world away. His voice cracked. Emma was 6 months old. She needed a parent. Not a hero. So I chose. Emma's hand found his. Small fingers threading through calloused ones. You're my hero, Daddy, she said quietly. Even when you're just fixing cars. Just fixing cars. As if that were something small. Marcus knelt down. Brought himself eye level with his daughter. That's all I ever wanted to be, baby. Just your dad. Captain Reynolds cleared his throat. Sir, you saved 200 lives today. Used skills that most pilots lose if they don't practice daily. You haven't flown in 12 years. But you landed a crippled 737 like you'd been doing it your whole life. The passengers were moving closer now. The businessman from first class pushed to the front. He looked at Marcus for a long moment. Then extended his hand. I owe you an apology, sir. I judged you. Treated you like you were, less than human. Because of your clothes. Because you were in economy. I was wrong. And I'm sorry. Thank you for saving my life. Others followed. The woman with the perfume stepped forward. Her mascara was running. Her expensive clothes were rumpled. I was sitting right across from you, she said, voice shaking. I looked at you like you were dirt. Acted like you didn't deserve to breathe the same air. Then you saved my life while I sat there useless and afraid. She covered her face with her hands. I'm so sorry. I'm so deeply, horribly sorry. The flight attendant came next. The one who'd charged $3 for juice. She was crying. You deserved better. You deserved everything. And I gave you nothing because I judged you in 3 seconds. Her voice broke. I'm sorry. One by one they came. The man who'd complained about sitting near Emma. The passengers who'd whispered and stared. All of them offering apologies. All of them ashamed. Marcus accepted their words with quiet grace. He didn't feel vindicated. Just tired. The adrenaline was wearing off, leaving him hollow. Emma stayed close. His anchor. His reason for everything. The base commander spoke again. Commander Webb, we need you. The Navy needs instructors like you. Pilots who faced death and won. You could save hundreds more lives by teaching what you know. Marcus shook his head. My life is in that garage back home. I've got honest work. I've got my daughter. That's enough. Sir, with respect, you're wasted as a mechanic. I'm not wasted. I'm exactly where I need to be. Emma tugged his sleeve. Daddy, can we go home? The question cut through everything else. Home. Safety. Routine. Marcus looked at his daughter. 7 years old. Scared. Wanting her familiar bedroom. Yes, baby. We can go home. He met the base commander's eyes. Thank you for the offer, sir. But my answer is no. I'm not coming back. The crowd murmured. Confusion. Disappointment. Captain Reynolds stepped forward one last time. Commander, if you won't fly again, at least let us honor you. Let the world know what you did today. Marcus's smile was sad. I was honored once. It didn't bring Sarah back. Didn't make Emma's life easier. Heroes are just people who survived when others didn't. That's not worth celebrating. It's just worth remembering. They arranged transport back home. A military car. Driver who called Marcus sir and opened doors. The businessman insisted on paying for it. It's the least I can do. The woman with the perfume gave Emma her phone number. If you ever need anything. Anything at all. I want to make this right. They meant it. Marcus could see that. The experience had changed them. Maybe permanently. Maybe not. But for now, they were different people than they'd been on that plane. The drive took 6 hours. Emma fell asleep in the back seat. Curled against Marcus's side. He watched the landscape pass. Desert giving way to suburbs. Suburbs to their neighborhood. Small houses. Working-class families. His world. They pulled up to their apartment building at midnight. The driver helped with the bags. Sir, what you did today matters. You know that, right? Marcus looked at the young man. Earnest. Believing. What matters is that little girl, Marcus said, nodding toward Emma sleeping in his arms. Everything else is just noise. He carried Emma inside. Laid her in bed without changing her clothes. Some nights didn't need pajamas. Just needed safety. In the kitchen, Marcus made coffee he wouldn't drink. Stood at the window, looking out at the ordinary street. Ordinary cars. Ordinary lives. His phone buzzed. Text messages flooding in. Word had spread fast. Old squadron mates. Reporters. People he hadn't thought about in years. He turned the phone off. Tomorrow he'd deal with the attention. Tonight he just wanted to stand in his kitchen and remember that he'd kept his promise to Sarah. He'd kept Emma safe. Given her a father who came home every night. That was enough. More than enough. The garage smelled like oil and possibility. Marcus was under a Honda Civic when his boss called him into the office. Webb, got something for you. It was a letter. Official seal. Navy letterhead. Marcus opened it carefully. Inside, a formal commendation. Recognition for saving Flight 447. And an offer. Not to fly. Not to return to service. But to consult. Review safety protocols. Train mechanics to recognize the kind of failure he'd identified mid-flight. Part-time. From home. Good pay. What do you think? His boss asked. Marcus thought about Emma. About bills. About the future. I think I need to talk to my daughter. That night, over dinner, he showed Emma the letter. They want me to help make planes safer. It wouldn't be flying. Just, sharing what I know. Emma, now 8, looked at him seriously. Would it make you happy, Dad? The question surprised him. What do you mean? You always seem like you're waiting for something. Maybe this could help. Kids saw everything. Would you be okay with it? Marcus asked. Emma smiled. Mom would want you to do it. Right? Sarah's name hung in the air between them. Yeah, Marcus said softly. She would. He called the Navy the next morning. Accepted the consulting position. Started reviewing aircraft designs. Safety protocols. Training materials. His mechanics eye caught things engineers missed. His pilot's intuition saw patterns in data. He saved lives from a desk. From his small apartment. From exactly where he was. The passengers from Flight 447 stayed in touch. The businessman funded a scholarship for children of military families. The woman with the perfume hired veterans at her company. The flight attendant started a nonprofit teaching empathy and awareness. Everyone changed. Everyone grew. And Marcus Webb, the ghost, the legend who'd walked away from glory, lived his quiet life. Fixed cars during the day. Reviewed safety protocols at night. Raised his daughter with love and steady hands. Sometimes Emma would ask about the Navy. About flying. About that day. Marcus would tell her the truth, some people need the sky. But I learned that the ground is enough. You're enough. This life is enough. And it was. More than enough.